his youngest brother. We go back about 30 years, so it's been a long time, but it hasn't been 30 years that I think that we've been as close as we are now. For those of you who don't know, we lived together in college, and we got to share some really awesome experiences while we were living together at Penn State. One in particular is probably in the top 5 experiences of my life, is getting to watch the Philadelphia Phillies win the World Series in 2008 on our 13-inch Samsung bunny ear TV through the static. At the it was not black and white. Carlos, yep, Chooch. On the second day of Game 6, because the game got postponed, and we watched the rest of it the rest of the next night. Absolutely one of my favorite experiences, and I mean, it's amazing how baseball can bring a family together. And I could go into and give you the speech from Field of Dreams. America might go marching on like an army of steamrollers, but I'm not going to do it. But baseball's been, I think, what really brought us together. And I'm very honored tonight to be your best man in this weekend. We didn't get to go to the batting cage today, which was probably a good thing because it rained anyway. Finally, I'd just like to again say thank you to everybody for coming. We have friends who came in from all over the country. Specifically, Jim and Evelyn Ritchie, thank you so much for raising such a wonderful daughter. Caroline, you're amazing. You're beautiful. You look awesome. You're going to look awesome tomorrow. You're brave for taking on the responsibility of managing my brother's life. It's a big responsibility. So, again, thank you. We love you. Welcome to the family. Just everybody have a good night. To Michael and Caroline, and to many, many years.
Sister and maid of honor. It has been such a pleasure to walk through the past 8 months with Caroline to plan this beautiful celebration. We've had so many fun memories, a lot of late nights, especially this past week, wrapping presents, going shopping, and really just talking a lot about how excited she is to marry Michael. And speaking of Michael, he's just been so fun to get to know the past few years, and especially the past few months since they moved to Spartanburg. Shout out to Michael for bringing our girl home.
You're welcome.
But Michael, you're so kind and treat her so well. Treat her like the princess we all know she is. And because I care about you, I have a couple pieces of advice to offer. The first one has a little quick story to go with it. So probably 12 or 13 years ago, our family was visiting our family in Florida, and at the time, Caroline was probably going through a little bit of boy troubles. And I'm not going to go into any details, but I'm just going to say that she was calling so many friends and using so many minutes that my dad had to call up Verizon and ask for the boyfriend breakup plan. So anyway, it just seemed right for someone to make a little joke about it, and it was definitely Jimmy that made the joke, and it just didn't go over well. And so Caroline quickly replied, well, you know, I have more feelings than all of you combined, and that's a good thing. A lot of feelings. So Michael, know that she will always have more feelings than you and everyone here combined. So this is your warning. So my second piece of advice is a little more simple. So if you ever do anything to upset her, giving her flowers will tell her that you're sorry. But if you get her Monterey cheese dip, that says that you love her and you've learned your lesson.
I'll take that. I'm looking forward to that cheese dip on.
Caroline, you've navigated this process so beautifully with such grace and care. You spread so much light and love, and you have this presence about you that just makes everyone feel so loved and comfortable, and it really reminds me of two ladies that we both really love. could not have grown up with a more wonderful sister to have as a role model, and would not have wanted anyone else to use me as a baby doll to dress up when I was little. Because we are 12 years apart, so I was her little baby doll. But the two of you are just so wonderful together, and I cannot wait to see how the Lord continues to work in your lives as husband and wife. To Caroline and Michael.
I have known Caroline for almost all of my life, and have had the pleasure of Mr. Jim Ritchie welcoming me to his house with my other daughter's home on every occasion. Probably partially due to the fact that I was there almost every day for so many years, adding more squealing and scheming to his house of already 3 girls. The Ritchies, all of them, are so special to me, and I am so excited to celebrate our girl getting married this weekend. All of you already know this, but Caroline is truly a special and unique person. She has so many passions and executes them all in a way that looks effortless. She is an excellent actress, amazing vocalist, hilarious storyteller, and talented party planner, as we're all going to see tomorrow, and can transition back and forth from a New York City boss lady to a Southern belle with charm and ease. But something that has made such a huge impression on my life is Caroline's ability to be a deeply loving friend. From laying in bed while eating double stuffed Oreos when we got our hearts broken, to her giving me weekly facials when I was in the terrible skin years, to riding in the car with my family to drop me off for study abroad and sniffling with them in the car all the way home from the airport, to letting me drag her around most of Iceland over a long weekend. We only thought once that the car had broken down and that we would be forced to survive off the goldfish I had packed one time. To her being the one there to help me get my baby dressed for her first pediatrician's appointment. Caroline is truly happier for you than you are for yourself when good things happen. Loving people selflessly and deeply comes naturally to her, and I am so blessed to have her as my best friend. Now enter Michael. I met Michael on one of my many New York visits, and he immediately impressed me with his kindness. I remember he insisted on paying for my dinner in Greenwich Village and taking care of me as I was an extension of Caroline. Michael has that same genuine care for people as Caroline does. I do remember thinking, this guy is the first one of all the guys who's as smitten as a guy should be when he gets to date Caroline. And he gets lots of points for figuring that out and treating her so incredibly well. Those are in addition to the points he has now gotten for bringing her back down south, within driving and babysitting distance. But truly, watching their love grow has been a joy, and they are so well suited, and he is the one that Caroline and I have been thinking, dreaming, and praying over those Oreos all those years ago. I am so excited to celebrate them tomorrow, and I can't wait to see the beautiful story of their life together unfold. Cheers.
Browning, and I am originally from Spartanburg, South Carolina. I'm proud of it, but I have lived in New York City for almost 10 years, and I have been roommates with Caroline for pretty much 8 years. So I know her well, and we often joked that we could get a common law marriage at this point. And I was really hoping that I could register for gifts. Until Michael came. But I do want to commend her on her beautiful registries. There's some really great things on there. But I have a blender that works, so that's good. Also saw her through plenty of blind dates over our time in New York City. I'm not going to go into those details, but trust me, there were some really questionable people out there in the world online. But these days you have to get on the apps. But anyway, that being said, this is all leading somewhere.
Like I just-
the night
go,
that, I think it was. Wait, sorry. I think it was their second date. Caroline came home, and I will never forget. She said, "I think I'm in trouble." After her second date with Michael, and that's when I was like, "Oh, whoa, okay." And then I met Michael, and he loved her from the beginning, and he came in really strong. And so we were like, "Who is this guy?" Like, he's like, she mentioned she loves muffins, and he's buying her a giant bag of giant muffins. And you know, she told him we needed paper towels, and he's got like a 12-pack. Like, I'm not kidding. And so it was great. It worked out great for me. You know. If Caroline needs something, he'll do it, because I've been sick a couple times. He's brought me Gatorade and saltines. He's done my dishes. But in all seriousness, that's just the kind of guy he is. And he's just so generous and so compassionate. And Michael, I'm so happy to know you. And for Caroline, she's literally one of my most favorite humans on the planet. And I don't know if I know, but there's not many people more compassionate than Caroline. So for these two just amazing individuals to find each other, and for me to be able to see it all happen, I feel so thankful and blessed and special. And I'm just so overjoyed and happy for y'all. And I just believe in you so much, like truly. I don't lie, and I just really am thrilled, and I'm so happy to be here, and I made it through my speech, and here's to Caroline. I love y'all. Somebody take this mic from me.
I'm the senior of the group. But Michael, you're marrying into. I'm the old guy. But from the family senior member, we welcome you with open arms. And I want to tell you a story. I understand you like the Phillies. I can tell you the starting lineup was the 1950 Phillies when they won the pennant. So I'm a Philadelphia fan also. But just on the serious side, we welcome you. God bless both of you.
Hey everybody, I'm Jimmy. I'm the brother of the bride. Very happy to be here. Thank y'all for coming. It means a lot. So I've spent 29 years now with Caroline. We fought a lot. We had a lot of car rides growing up. I remember Dad would say, "Don't test me. I'll turn this car around right now." I'm like, "We're still on Country Club Road. You're not going." And it's still the same on the street we live on. After one long, and this was just when it was Caroline and I before integration, and we had this long drive to see Granddaddy and Bevy. It was like 6 or 7 hours in a station wagon, and the next day, after just a terrible drive home, Dad goes and buys a minivan so he could separate us for the drives ahead. We just fought a lot, and you know, there were great times with the Steinbergs and the Blackfords, and it was great seeing those pictures. Caroline was always stealing my thunder. It was a lifelong dream of mine to be a little orphan Annie. And she just took it away. It was years of, she's a method actor, which means she was methodically driving everybody crazy as she prepared to be a little orphan Annie. And then, I was like, finally, I have this shot. I'm gonna, really put in the work, and Liza Doolittle part was open for My Fair Lady, and she took that one too. And then, I was like, I've always wanted to sing at a wedding, and my aunt didn't even offer Ave Maria to me. She was like, we'll give it to Caroline once again. So while I have y'all here, I'd like to. No, we'll save it. But the fighting stopped around 2005 or so, and I'd love to say it's because we grew up, or finally reconciled all these things, but it's much more simpler than that. She moved away to college. you know, every room that Caroline's in, it gets a little brighter, and it's just so much better when she's in it. I remember as far as the singing and the Annie goes, I remember Marla or Miss Blackbird would pull her in her room and just sing, you know, and she'd sing, and everybody would be like in awe, and I'm just rolling my eyes in the corner, just sort of sick of it all. And then opening night of Annie, I'm sitting front row, and Caroline comes up and sings her first, you know, solo, and I just lose it. I'm like 10 years old, sitting there crying, and I was just so proud. And that's the light that I look at you in most now is just pride. I just get, you know, so excited when people ask me about you, because I get to tell them, you know, all these great things. Michael, we're happy to have you here. I don't know if y'all saw in the pictures, but Michael had hair before he met Caroline. And I don't know if those two are intertwined, but it hasn't gotten better since I've known him. I love you, Michael. And Michael's stall Richie has a nice ring to it. She hasn't told you yet. That's sad. Well, now you know. No, but it's nice. We got to take care of Anna Grace and say happy birthday to her, because tonight is about Caroline and her true love of Young Living essential oils. All right. No, I want to thank all of Caroline's New York family for coming. I know it's a big deal for y'all to be here. She's just great. She's so over the top, and she brought her own choir. It's ridiculous. Isn't that ridiculous? She was so good. They're so good. But it's ridiculous.
Is it a toast or a roast?
I love y'all. So I found out that Caroline was getting married. She called me, and the first thing I did was call Michael and tell him congratulations, because he's marrying the most wonderful woman I've ever met. And I'm lucky to call you my sister, and I'm so glad to have you as a brother. And we're so glad you're here. So toast to Caroline and Michael.
You're going to hear a lot about the different qualities of Michael and Caroline's. I want to talk about the sense of humor, the sort of zany sense of humor that Caroline had. Now, I noticed this when she was about 4, and I was dressing, and she comes in my bathroom while I'm dressing, and she says, "Uncle Kenny, what are those bottles of pills?" And I said, "Well, this pill makes me short, and this pill makes me fat, and this pill makes me bald." And Caroline said, with this tragic tone, "But Uncle Kenny, why do you want to be short, fat, and bald?" And that's sort of the secret to her zany humor. She accepts the premise and improves on it. This became fairly evident. She was a little older, started reading the newspaper. She was saying to her daddy, "Jim, what is it with these pedestrians?" And Jim says, "What do you mean?" He says, "Well, I'm reading in the paper all the time that the pedestrians are being run over." And he says, "Well, yes, that's right." And she says, "Well, is there something wrong with pedestria?" She thought it was a country, and the pedestrians were from pedestria. But and the same. All right. Fast forward a little later. In fact, until not that long ago, and she's thinking of jobs to supplement her income, as we say in our family. But she's looking at jobs while she's in New York, and she sees it advertised an opening at a gentleman's club.
Yes, I love this story.
Well, we know what a gentleman's club is. Caroline says, "Oh, I've been to a lot of gentlemen's clubs with Uncle Kenny." She says, "I think I'd be good at that." And so she puts her resume in. Her headshot is like close to here, and she got no callback.
Like leather armchairs, cigars, whiskey.
Well, there are many qualities that we all know of Caroline. I wanted to talk about the humor. It's part of the zest that makes her the lovely creature that we love. Caroline and Michael.
My mother are sisters, and we're just glad that Michael
takes on the characteristics, has been taking the pills that Kenny took of short, fat, and bald. Just don't take the fat pill, my friend.
Too expensive.
We just, we love Caroline, we love the whole Crib family and the Ritchie family, and welcome the Stalls. And we had the pleasure of having Caroline and Michael in Memphis earlier this year, and just a blast. But cheers to you. We love you both. Keep Christ in your life.
Caroline's uncle, Billy Cribb. Evelyn Ritchie's my sister. Michael, we just want to welcome you into our family. Caroline, I want to weave a little bit of our grandparents into this, because my mother, who you affectionately called Dee Dee, loved you so much, and we miss her. And you know she's here with us. And of course, Granddaddy Kenneth was my father, and he passed away. We affectionately know him as Granddaddy Kenneth, but none of the grandchildren ever got to know him because he passed away right before my oldest son was born. But he was, Michael, he was a biblical scholar as well, and so he would have a wonderful time sitting down with you. He was a scholar of Paul, an expert. He did talks on the book of Paul around Spartanburg. So you and he would have a wonderful connection. And anyway, I just wanted to bring them into the celebration. Congratulations.
Well, we're so grateful for everyone who made it out here for us. We know a lot of you came a really long way. We have people here from, I think, 23 or 24 states. And a lot of you have taken time off work, and we just really appreciate you being here, sharing in our love. We're grateful for the Ritchies for hosting our wedding tomorrow, my parents for hosting this event.
Good party. Great.
And we just really love you and appreciate that you're all here. And if I haven't gotten a chance to talk to you yet, then come up.
Thank you all so much. You're here because you are our favorite people. And this is just surreal to have everyone we love in one place. And we want to just thank, of course, again, Diane and John Stahl for hosting us tonight. And I didn't want to forget anybody, so I brought my list, but we have our amazing family friends who are also hosting tonight. We want to thank the Barnetts, the Baines, the Blackfords, the Chapmans, the Cribbs, the G's, the Lynches, the McCrady's, the Smiths, the Steinbergs, and the Wades. Thank you all so much. Thank you so much. I love you, sweetheart. You want to get married tomorrow?
Let's get married.